Alright, I did something tonight that I said I wasn't going to do anymore, but I did it tonight, and it's the last one I'm going to do. So on capfriendly.com, I used the expansion draft tool again, and I came out with the following, and these guys are listed by their cap hits. I went with one player per team. No, Kruger from Chicago is not on this team. This is just the expansion team. Okay. I went center heavy, because you always need centers. And I went with the idea that there's guys who are going to get picked up by Vegas that are simply meant to be flipped. But I picked up a lot of players with 1 year left on their contract, because then that means that coming out of next season, their inaugural season, they're going to be able to have maximum turnover and decide who they keep and who they get rid of. So, again, this is cap hit top to bottom. I got 16 forwards for a $21 million cap hit. Jakob Silfverberg from Anaheim. Zach Smith from Ottawa. Lance Boma from Calgary. Riley Sheehan from Detroit. Kalle Järnkrok from Nashville. Vlad Nemesnikov from Tampa. Devontae Smith-Pelly from New Jersey. Dmitry Yaskin from St. Louis. Joel Armia from Winnipeg. Armia, Yaskin, Nemesnikov, Järnkrok, Silfverberg. This is a pretty good team. Lucas Sedlak from Columbus. Iro Pakarinen from Edmonton. William Carrier from Buffalo. Tom Kuhnhackl from Pittsburgh. Josh Levo from Toronto. Chris Tierney, who's RFA, but I think if he's exposed and he's available, and I did a very lazy way of doing this, so I know there's going to be San Jose fans going, he's not going anywhere. But Chris Tierney from San Jose, and Nick Cousins, who's a restricted free agent from Philly, for a little bit of sandpaper. On defense, I grabbed 11 defensemen with a cap hit of $17.4 million. Minnesota, Marco Scandella. Lucas Biza from Vancouver. Adam McQuaid from Boston. Nick Holden from the Rangers. Luke Shen from Arizona. He's got 1 year left, and he's got a very cap-friendly deal. Jordy Ben from Montreal. Klaas Dahlbeck from Carolina. Trevor Van Riemsdyk from Chicago, and Stephen Johns from Dallas. Now, of course, both Johns and Dahlbeck were both Chicago properties, so there's a lot of Chicago feel in this. Derek Forbert from LA, and Alex Petrovic out of Florida. Not a lot of front-end talent for that blue line. No power play point man on that blue line. That blue line's going to have a hard time scoring. And yet, there's some toughness there. There's some decent defensemen there. You can make a top 6 out of it. Do you have a single top 2 guy? No. But it's an expansion team. In net, and I again, this is tricky. I picked Jaro Halak from the New York Islanders because he's going to have a bounce back. I think he's only 32. And because it auto-protected Varlamov in Colorado, and apparently Colorado's protecting Varlamov, I grabbed Calvin Pickard from Colorado, and the number 3 goalie's Philip Grubauer in Washington. So the cap space they have is $28.1 million with what I drafted. $28.1 million left over for Vegas. $25 million after they grab Kruger. There's guys that I read out to you here who would be trade fodder for an expansion team. Vegas doesn't have to hold on to them. Can trade them. All it has to do is grab enough players with contracts into next season, and I grabbed 26 guys with contracts for next season. They have to draft 20 out of 30, have to have contracts beyond this season. It's pretty easy. They have to get over the cap minimum, which is $43 million. I did that. I hit $44 million. And that's, again, without Kruger, who's going to bring them up another $3 million. And I'm honestly, I think that with the cap space that they have left over with what I drafted, with the forward group I drafted that's actually relatively talented and capable of putting puck in the net, the question they're going to have is defense. And it's going to be offense from that defense. Puck-moving defensemen. Point men. Tough thing to acquire. Almost impossible to find on the market. But you just never know. So you look at some of the guys who are going to be free agents this summer. Sorry about that. Oh, there it is. The guys are going to be free agents this summer. And I think Vegas is an attractive target. I think they'll get a lot of young players. I think they'll get a lot of players who need a new start. Players who are maybe 30, 31, and looking for a fresh start for their career in their 30s, knowing that they've got 4 or 5 good years left. Those players are going to look at Vegas and say, that's an attractive place to land. I can get all the ice time I want. And it might be big for defensemen. It's likely not going to be a first choice for very many players. Not this season. But with what I drafted, they only have 7 players under contract past this coming season. And they would have $55 million in cap space next summer. And I know they would keep a number of those players. They're not going to have $50 million in cap space next summer. But it's not unreasonable to think they'll have $30 to $35 million in cap space next summer. Vegas is going to be very tough, and and Shipachev makes another $4 million, so that takes another $4 million off of that. But still, and Shipachev added to that forward group I got there. That's just insane because Silverberg is top 6. Zach Smith, he can be. Yarncroke, I think, can be. Nemesnikov, sure. Yaskin, absolutely. Armia, jury's still out on that, but he could be. And Toronto fans are big on Levo, and Levo's a guy who likely gets picked up in the expansion draft because he only makes $612,000 next year. That's why I grabbed Levo. I thought, well, he only makes $612,000 next season. He's not going to get a huge raise after next season either. Makes sense for an expansion team to go with him. He's in his mid-20s. He's going to be there for a long time if it works out. Otherwise, no harm, no foul. Kuhn Hackle. You need a great guy in the bottom 6. And for McPhee, he said he wants young guys. So the age of the forwards are as follows: 26, 29, 27, 25, 25, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 25, 22, 25, 24, 22, and 23. And the blue line, I went 27, 27, 30, 30, 27, 29. And then the other 5 are 25 years of age. In net, 32, 25, and 25. Whatever Vegas ends up with, it's going to be the envy of expansion teams that came before them. Because for most of them, the guys that performed really well were in their early 30s and they were past their prime. They didn't have a shot at a guy like a Jakob Silverberg. They didn't have a shot at some of these young, talented forwards because expansion rules were tough. The number of players you could protect was higher. And for Vegas, they're going to get some really good players. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts. I'm going to put the link to the expansion draft tool and Cap Friendly in the description for this video. Again, you guys can exchange your ideas. It's crazy. We're a couple weeks out from the actual draft, so this is the only time I'm going to do it again. Because it's an interesting debate. Who do the Golden Knights grab? Does George McPhee potentially, and I know I didn't grab Matt Murray because there's a deal in the works with them in Pittsburgh. I guarantee it. There's no way Matt Murray's going to be in Vegas this time in July. There's no way. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And hey, if you're a Vegas fan, you got 3 weeks until you know who's going to be on your team from the expansion draft. And then we get into the entry draft, we get into free agency. And I did this draft with free agency in mind. Like, okay, I'm going to grab some name guys with some money, but I'm going to be careful because you don't want to invest too much cap space in your expansion roster. Not when you can grab guys in the free agent market. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.